Welcome to the DweeBros podcast.
What the heck's the DweeBros podcast?
You might be saying, or you might be saying, I wonder what the DweeBros podcast is. I don't know what your voice is.
What kind of accent was that?
Yeah, I'm about to ask that.
You might smoke 80 cigarettes a day. Hey, what the heck's the DweeBros podcast? I don't know what you sound like, but I'm glad you're here, however you sound, however voice you make. And I'm about to tell you about us. We are the DweeBros. I am Zach, Travis, and Jacob. Together.
What's going on?
Good to have you guys back.
Together we make the DweeBros. And together we talk monthly about video games, TV shows, movies, and pop culture. What's going on with the world? There's a lot going on with the world. Some say too much. You might think too little. But we're going to get down to the hottest topics tonight. And I say we go guns a-blazing with the topic that nobody could keep out of their mouth all month long. You know what that is?
Pro?
It's 5 Pro, baby.
PS5 Pro?
Pro?
Did you guys get your pre-orders in?
No.
What are you waiting on?
I didn't put a pre-order in, but I feel like this is a very popular device. I think a lot of people are excited to get their hands on this thing.
Yeah, I think it's totally worth it. I think I've already pre-ordered 5, one for each of my rooms, my house.
Okay, I was waiting for the sarcasm to come out of that. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, the sarcasm. I don't even have 5 rooms. Yeah, they did a presentation on the PS5 Pro. We've been waiting for this thing. What's it going to be? What's it going to do? And it was funny in our group chat. I was on a job at the time. And I was like, I'm going to watch this afterwards, after the job is over, and kind of just let this stream or whatever. And I saw like 60 comments or 60 like missed messages in that one chat. And I was like, what has happened? And I've seen like, I glanced and saw one message from another of my friends was like, Sony's at it again. Or just like, I barely read it. It was like, they're freaking up their own butts again. Or like, I was like, what happened? Like something went wrong or really good. I don't know. But I just had it playing in the car just so I could hear it and stuff. I was driving home and I started dying laughing on the road when it was like, I looked over, saw the price, $6.99. So I just cackled. That was how they ended it. That goes and it's like they run. It's like they showed you the price and they ran, and that's how it ended. But
I think Sony is, they're just going to test the water here because they said, you know what we could do? We can just throw it out there. People are going to buy it. And then when it doesn't sell enough, we'll just lower the price.
I mean, that's what they did with the PSVR 2. And that was the other thing that came to my mind when I saw it. I was like, well, the PSVR 2 was amazing technology at the time, but nobody had really that demand, and they sat on it forever. And then finally, when they went to 350, they sold a buttload. They sold out a lot of places with the PSVR 2. So
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
They got idiots like me first, and then they get the non-idiots.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they're rolling out the Pro. A lot of people who are playing consoles, they're ramping up. I think this next couple of years, the game releases are going to get better and better. So now it's time to give them the real hardware. Now it's time to give them the stuff that people are like, oh, we want this. Because it was when the PS4 Pro came out that like the games started to get really good. And we saw like God of War and different things like that start coming out for Sony. So, I mean, it's just that's that window. It's that time.
Well, my only thing with the PS4 Pro, if I think back on that, like I didn't get that at launch either. But it was like, okay, this is worth it. And it was the same cost as the PS4 was at launch. But, and I'm not saying this should be like the same cost, $500. I don't know. But that felt like, oh yeah, there's a reason to get the PS4 Pro, and I got one. But this, I'm literally playing the PS5, and the distance I am at 4K, it's like, guys, I do not see like, and the comparison videos were very funny because they're like, here's what this, and I was like, I'm sorry. They're like, as you can see in Ratchet and Clank, the people in the stands and the audience back there are actually, they have a higher fidelity. And I'm like, man, if this was like the same cost, I could see people like going in or whatever. But like at that, and you have to think about the tax, you have to think about the disk drive, you have to think about in Canada, I think it's like $1,000. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff you have to add on. It's just,
I think you made a great point. I agree completely. There were games that I was worried with the PS4 Pro that they wouldn't look as good as I wanted them to look on a regular PS4. I was worried about Ghost of Tsushima a little bit. I remember I was specifically worried about Last of Us 2, and I was worried about Death Stranding. Death Stranding was right around when this happened, when the PS4 Pro came out. And I don't feel that way about anything right now. This generation, there's nothing on the horizon that I'm worried this console can't handle. I do understand the GTA 6 thing a little bit.
That was the one thing I was going in. I was like, that will get me. But then I was like, I don't know.
I haven't seen my PS5 Pro hurt at all the entire time I've used it.
Yeah, there hasn't been a time when I looked at my PS5, because I play my PS5 at 2K because I have it on my monitor, and I look at it, I'm like, dude, I don't ever, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. There's never been a moment where I play something, I'm like, I should have got this on PC. Like, I have not had that moment yet. I've had that moment on PS4. Have not had it on PS5.
The PS4 was getting loud. It's starting to sound like an airplane.
And
then it was like, let's get the PS4 Pro, and that was the right call. But this, I don't feel that. And during the presentation, their selling point, the biggest selling point was, hey, we've noticed that, like, with developers, since PS4 Pro, this has always been something. You can choose like performance mode or like graphics mode.
Yeah.
And they said that this thing, you don't have to choose anymore. It's just the fidelity mode. It's just like there for the PS5 Pro. You don't have to choose between 60 frames and doing this or whatever. Or like some people can do, like, I think Stellar Blade has like a 50 frames per second mode or something. So they get to choose, but it's like you get more frame rate and you don't have to choose between the graphics and frame rate anymore. But I don't know. It just, I don't have that desire as I did the
It's
Pro.
not there yet. I think
the PS4 Pro, I mean.
Maybe for me personally, a year and a half from now, maybe it might get me.
It's got to drop the price.
Yeah.
$700 is just a non-starter.
It's too much. Now, I did see that they were doing, and this is how some people, I remember getting the PS4 Pro. I did this with the PS3. Trade in a console and then you get the other version.
I remember that.
So if you trade in, I think it becomes like $380, but that's still like, it's asking a lot for what you're getting in performance.
Yeah, well, the value of the PS5s have just toileted now. Like,
is that right?
I mean, well, think about it. No, I'm just saying, like, in general, if people are going to be waving, like, in about 4 months or so, people are going to be trying to trade their PS5s in and try to offset the cost to get a PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when that starts to happen, the PS5 value will start to just down a little bit. It'll start working its way down.
Well,
that's just what happens. So
jump on now. Trade in your consoles. But I don't want to let trade in my console for that.
I'm just not. Yeah, my PS5 is fine. Honestly, I'm been playing a lot more. If I do play games, it's on my PC lately. My PS5 has mainly just been like my sports machine. I play my sports games on it.
I will say, our friend Alex was talking about this, and I have seen other people jump this way too. Whatever the price, that is a lot. But I'm seeing some people say, well, cheaper than a graphics card, cheaper than, like, I mean, if you're just doing that, so that's why Alex, I think, just jumped. He's like, well, I'm not going to do that for a while. Like, might as well just jump on this. It is impressive hardware.
And it's
is he getting a PS5 Pro?
Yeah, he pre-ordered it today.
He pre-ordered it. So I think that there is definitely a market for it. As much as I'm like poo-pooing the price or whatever, there are people that are looking at the comparisons like, well, this is cheaper, like power-wise, than getting a PC in some cases, especially with their AI and whatever technology they're doing with the upscaling. So,
yeah, that was the one thing I was like questioning more or less, is like they've really pushed a lot of eggs into the upscaling basket. Where I think, like, when the whole purpose of getting the Pro would be that, like, the native hardware can handle this natively, but they still upscale things. Like PlayStation, Sony's really invested in the idea that we're not going to tax our systems all the way to the max. We want to keep it at a same steady rate across the board for everything. So the upscaling technology, honestly, also hurts them because the PS5 does the same thing. It all upscales.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does what this is doing. It's like doing. No, it's doing some, like, what is that called on Nvidia's thing? Something DLSS. DLSS. They're just called like PSSVR when they did the presentation. It's basically that, and that is extremely impressive. Like that technology, it's like, oh, I can't even tell that they're doing that AI upscaling. Like it looks 1-to-1. It's not worth the cost, the taxing cost to do like a very. You have to be this close to the TV, and it's like I could see that pixel.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, it's too much for me right now, though.
The only counterpoint I make to that is a lot of times when they reveal these new like image quality things, our eyes kind of glaze over and we feel like, oh, it all looks the same. But once it gets adopted and you're using it, then when you look at old games that don't have it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look as good. Because I remember I thought Horizon Zero Dawn looked amazing.
Yeah.
And then I got Forbidden West and I played it and I didn't like Forbidden West very much. But the other day they announced that remaster for Zero Dawn. And I was like, does that game really need that remaster? And then they were showing like before and after. And I was like, this game looked like doo-doo. I don't think it actually looks like doo-doo, but in comparison to the tools we're used to them using now, it does. The lighting stuff and all that. So, I don't know. Maybe the PS5 Pro, those comparisons don't work right now, but it's on them to give us comparisons that are enticing. But I bet in 2, 3, 4 years, our eyes will be more trained to see those differences.
And with better games coming out, because every game they showed during this presentation is something we've already played. They're like, hey, you're getting an update for this game. You're getting an update for this game. And it's like, why not like use this to show the net? They should have talked about Ghost of Yotei or showed that during that PS5 Pro.
Yeah,
they should have done that. I don't know what they were thinking,
because they revealed that right after. I thought that was the same thing. Was that not the same?
That was
thing?
Two different things. That was the state of play.
That would have been the game to show. You need a game to showcase this. Like, here's why you need this box. It's kind of marketing 101.
But it's like, here's Last of Us 2, and it's like that's a game from 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
I think so. Just. We do this every now and then. I just want to get pulse check again. So what's the price point for you guys?
To jump in?
Yeah, to jump in.
I think in 2 years, if it gets down, or 2 or 3 years, and it's down to like 500, if I can get one for 500, I'll figure out. Because I even get the PS4 Pro, I think used. I just got it because I'm a collector. I like to have the boxes and everything. I think I bought a really like great condition one for like something. Like I waited for that.
I think 500. I even could get. I'm in a position where I wouldn't mind having a second PS5 because I have my area upstairs and my area downstairs, and I split my time. Right now, my PS5, I've moved it upstairs, but in the winter, I'll probably be downstairs more. I would like the opportunity to have one in 2 rooms. I'm not going to buy a regular PS5 for that, but a Pro was like a good reason maybe to do that. But I'm not feeling the urge to do that right now at this price. So I think 500.
At that price, yeah. If it was like, 500, 400, it's like, oh, maybe I get a second one for another room. Because I feel you too, because upstairs I play out on cloud. But the problem is, while doing that, because I'm playing Astrobot right now. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's so tactile with the vibrations. That cloud can only like emulate so much with the cloud doing the vibration on the controller. So I'm like, I have to go downstairs to really play Astrobot. And it's like, if you had a second PS5, you just pop it in there. And
I think I'm looking at like 500, but I'm actually, this week I've been crazy enough. I've been looking into the Portal because I'm heading to New York this weekend. And I was like, I really just want to play one game. And so like, if I get the Portal, I can do that. And so I've been looking at that instead. So I just think I'm out on it for right now. It would be like, I would need it under 5 and I would be like, 100% confident I need this right now.
I think Portal might be like my Christmas present because like
it's
I
honestly,
really liked sitting outside with this thing with the cloud on my phone.
Here's what told me. My brother got one and went to his house and he was like, dude, look at this. He was sitting there. He was in the room and he was playing it and I was watching on the screen while he was playing. I was like, dude, that's 1-in-1 in the room. And I was like, okay, cool. That's cool. He's like, but hold on. So he then went downstairs, started playing it and he's like, yeah, that looks seamless. So then we tested. I was like, I want to test this thing. We drove. We left. He hooked it up on his data plan and put it on his phone, on his hotspot. We drove down the street, went all the way to a school, and we sat there and he was still playing the game. And I was like, this is great.
At first, when it launched, people were kind of mad about you could only do it in your home Wi-Fi network that the PS5 was connected to, which I think they've opened it now to where you can connect outside of that network.
Yeah, so it's honestly impressive. So I'm like, I'm in. I'm getting it.
What makes you want that when you already have a Steam Deck with Chiaki and stuff?
So the difference is Chiaki, I've gotten it to use outside of a network. Have you gotten to use it outside of a network? Yeah, I have not either. And I want to get it to use outside of a network because I've been leaving my house more and more on a little bit of extended trips. And I'm like, there's just one game I've really been grinding. I've been playing a lot and I'm just like, that's the game I want to play. But I'm not sitting the problem is I'm not sitting at my desk to give up time to play it. but I would do it when I'm like out and about.
What's the craziest place you've been playing a game through streaming? Because I know my answer.
Oh, I know mine too.
Well, I was in a cabin on vacation with my wife, and we were in like Michigan, and I didn't even have a Steam Deck or anything at this time. I had my phone, and I found out how to get my phone connected to Steam at home, and I was playing Arkham City with my phone, and then I had an Xbox controller like hooked up to it on Wi-Fi because I just really wanted to continue playing that game. And like my phone was like falling, and I was like playing, and it was working, but then I got stuck, and I was like, well, I got to turn this off. How do I do? It was like a whole thing to figure out how to turn it off and make sure it turned off at home. But that's the craziest thing I've done is I was on vacation and I was like using my phone and stuff.
I think I was like in the office, and this is back when I used to play Madden all the time, and I had my phone out, and you have digital like
buttons.
So I was playing Madden on my phone. It was the PS4 version or PS5 version. It was PS4 version of it because they had it on PS4. You could do it. That was probably the craziest situation I've ever been in. Where I was like, I'm in the office playing Madden on my phone. Like, it's kind of weird.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is the crazy thing about. Mine was recent. It was the birth of my child right before it was in the before he got delivered. But when they were like, we were waiting for our baby. I was sitting back and just like, hey, I'm having a lot of fun over here.
How long was your wife in labor?
I think over 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to.
What's because we're going to be having, I guess I can say this.
Yeah, ask me anything.
Oh my God, I don't think this is announced. I got to announce this thing before I post this
You're having your own Death Stranding, baby.
I'm like, what are those actors that leak something before it's announced? Because we're having a baby, but I haven't even announced the world yet.
Who's the Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He always
Spider-Man kid. He's always saying stuff. He's always spoiling his own stuff. Anyway, we're having a kid, and I was going to ask you, what is the time like? What is the point in time where the labor's gone on long enough it's okay to crack out the game? Because I was thinking, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be present with my wife. I'm going to be hanging out. But I am being realistic about the fact when you're in there for like hours and hours and hours and hours, you do probably hit a point where you're like, I'm going to play a game.
We were there for a while. It just depends on what kind of woman you got.
Are you holding the hand the entire time? Or
but like, I'm talking about like they have to like give them medicine. Like I'm gonna give you some like I'm gonna give you some
That's
like.
What I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing that it was very loud.
The moment
I have strategy guides here. I'm about to give you the strategy guide for this. So I've been there. They have to give like medicine for stuff to like get ready for the baby to come. So like I was sitting there and like you just have to wait. Like it's just time of like wait. A lot of it is just waiting.
I get the feeling you popped this out as soon as you guys got
I did.
Yeah,
Immediately. I got comfortable and I sat back and like I was Cloud. Like just I was playing Cloud through the cloud. Final Fantasy VII.
That's hilarious.
At no point the doctor was like, do you want to see this? And you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I'm okay.
I showed the doctor. I was like, look how far I am in Rebirth, and we're about to have a birth.
I'm sure they were impressed. I'm gonna give it a shot to just be there and be present and not because
Well, and let me know. Comment what you think about this. My wife still makes fun of me for. She's laying down, right? And she's laying back, and they're giving her medicine and stuff. And I'm over. They give you a couch. There's like this really famously uncomfortable couch. So I'm sitting back like this. I'm gonna get comfortable. So I'm like this, I'm playing my game, or I'm sitting like, I have to sit like this because there's nothing to rest up on really, whatever. So the doctor comes in and she's like, okay, we have to like divert. We might be talking or I might be playing my game. And then we like look at the doctor, they come in and like, I'm sitting there like this and I'm like, and I'm just listening to her like say this stuff. And Chelsea said she was embarrassed because she was like, you look like a teenage boy, or you look like a little kid. So he was like, get up. And I was like, but you're laying down. So he's like, it doesn't look professional. I was like, you're laying down too. I'm just laying down with you. So like, I don't know what you're going to do. You might want to like, if you're laying down like that, you might get up and like stand at attention.
I always stand up. And so when I'm in like, if I'm visiting or I'm part of something and someone walks in like that, I stand up.
But when the doctor comes into the room, do you stand up?
Not if I'm the patient, but like if I'm like a visitor, yeah, 100%.
So you would have stood up in all those cases.
I give them I want them to know my attention. I don't do it for. This might sound disrespectful. I don't do it for nurses because okay, I don't be clear.
Oh, I get it though.
Yeah,
they're just doing they're doing a quick thing.
Doctor
I was
comes
going to
in.
say, you'll be up, down, up, down. Up,
Yeah,
down.
the doctor comes in, grabs the chart, and immediately you're like, he's about to say.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
What do you got for me, Doc? You know what I mean? Like that. That's
I
kind of how I
talked to
am.
like I interacted with them or I asked questions, but like sometimes I was like this because I was
You just
still
had to take-
I was
take a
laying
headphone
down.
out?
I was also in my pajamas sometimes, and it was like late. You got to think this is like 2 a.m. Like I'm not getting up each time. Like I'm always standing at attention. Like tell me more. But I look like I'm a little girl at a sleepover.
You got your game
so tell me some
making noises.
secrets. Tell me some secrets.
Gosh, man, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, Travis, I salute you if you can go the whole time. Hopefully,
I didn't say I'm going to go the whole time, but I'm
okay.
going to try. I'm going to try.
You'll beat my record.
I'm going to try to go longer than you.
I was probably like 30.
He said right when he got in, so all you got to do is do 2 minutes and you're good.
If you wait an hour, that's like 30 times over.
See, the problem is like for me, I can use a mobile game and it will get me through a couple hours, but then I need like the next level. I need like the next thing is going to pull my brain in.
Well, there's like a level. So like there's a level of comfort where you're scanning the internet, scrolling Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's where I started. I'll take that back. That is where I started.
And then there's a mobile game. What's that football?
Retro Bowl.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, like we're going to be here for
Kill
a little
about
bit.
30,
I got enough
45
time to get a
minutes.
game in. When I'm busting out the Steam Deck, like, and then there's like, what am I playing? You're a psycho. You went straight into Final Fantasy Rebirth. Like, if I bust out the deck, like maybe I'm doing a Vampire Survivors round or something. Like, you went all in. Like,
I will say, I think now that you mention it, I did kind of scroll for a second because for me, I was using the Backbone controller attachment, and that was in my backpack. So I did wait a little bit, and then when it was like really chill, and she was like. Again, like they were giving her medicine to like make her sleep and stuff. Like she was falling asleep easily.
The key is she's taking a nap.
Then just free
I
game.
got time now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Free
yeah,
game.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I think that's how I would be. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how I'm gonna be. I feel like I'm the type of person I'd bring the PC in. I'd be like,
You're like one of those boyfriends,
dude. I built a new PC. Did I tell you guys I built a new PC?
Yeah.
I built a new PC, but it's a mini tower that's modeled after the GameCube.
Oh, wow.
So it has a
That sounds
handle
awesome.
and everything, so I can carry it around and
Nice.
stuff.
Because we all
And-
three had the same PC, but you've moved on.
Yeah, I have a yeah.
Wow.
So now I have a new
You've
one.
left the nest.
I left it.
I'm probably due to upgrade at some point.
That's
I don't
what
know.
I was like. It's time for me to upgrade. I was like, I had to pull the trigger, and it's a beefy one too.
That's
I'm
cool.
really proud of it.
I will say one last thing on the Backbone controller and delivery room playing with games. Having that Backbone and playing Rebirth, like when the doctor would come in, I was like trying to hide that thing like I was at school because it's like it's so large and it like it's so like it makes it so like you're like a little kid.
Yep.
And
Oh, you
I was
got
like,
caught.
I was kind of embarrassed a little bit. I didn't tell my wife that, but like I would try to hide it under the covers. Like I was picking up the covers and like throwing
That's
it under
actually
there.
funny. That's
But-
really, really funny.
What else you been playing? Not in a delivery room.
I have been torturing myself.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just great.
I am still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm at 190 hours on that game. I'm going to platinum it. This is the hardest video game achievement I'll have ever gotten when I get this.
One specific achievement?
No, there's multiple. It's just to get the platinum on this, it requires your blood, sweat, and tears and soul. Like you cannot, because with other games, it's like, you know, we've even talked about Dark Souls achievements. You're like, those aren't that hard. You just have to kind of replay stuff and whatever. This requires you to be very good at like these mini games, these new mini games, and you could be bad at them. One that I was screaming at, and my wife also made fun of me, was they have piano. Play the piano. Well, you have to get an A rank in all of these piano things. You use each analog, like a left one controls your one hand and the right controls the other. And you have to like, it's like a rhythm game. But you know how I am with rhythm. I am the worst you've ever seen probably with rhythm. And I have to time this. And I was getting so mad. And Chelsea was like, hey, I need your help. I know you're really busy right now. Like she came in. She's like, I know you're really busy right now, but playing your piano. But there are ungodly hard like combat fights that like it's the same with Remake. When you would play that game on normal, you might not use a certain aspect of the combat. And when you get into hard mode, if you do not use that aspect in certain like mechanics, you'll die immediately. And that's how this one is to an umpth degree. Like it's just like Remake's hard mode, where it's like you have got to know these mechanics, how they work. You've got to use everything to your advantage or you will die immediately. So on some of the hard modes or whatever, like challenges, but it's like mini games. It's freaking like hard mode stuff. It's unbelievable. It's like collecting this stuff. It's making sure you get this. It's crazy, but I'm about to do it. I'm at 190 hours though, but when I'm done, it's like I'm like retiring from platinum stuff or whatever.
Do you think you'll like be done with this game forever once you platinum it? Do you think you'll ever revisit it?
It would have to be 10 plus years. It'd be like Metal Gear Solid 5. I kind of want to poke my head in, but that was 10 years. It's been 10 years. Like next year,
it's been enough time. For you
it's going to have to be a decade before I touch Rebirth again.
Yeah, and you're going to play the third one, so.
And I'll play the third one too. But this one, I do recommend this. Like I just had our friend Brad or whatever, he was like, I'm hearing about this Final Fantasy VII. I was like, oh, I'm gushing about it. But I was like, hey, play Remake. If you like that, you'll love a Rebirth. But like, if you don't like Remake, just pop out there and don't do the platinum. But the thing is, I played 190 hours and the combat is still fresh. Like it's so fun. It feels so good, especially in hard mode. There's new things I'm learning. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And, it's the best combat I've ever played in a game, but I'm playing that and going to wrap that up. Hopefully.
That's fun. Jacob, what have you been playing?
Man, not a lot actually. Very little. I'm in the busiest time of my life between everything I'm doing. I'm coaching football. I don't know if I mentioned that last one. I mentioned that last one. I probably mentioned
we talked about it in the podcast.
You're playing the ultimate game.
Yeah, it is the ultimate game. I'll tell you what, this game sucks right now. We're on a 3-game losing skid. Yeah, we started out, we're moving 3-0, and then we've lost 3 straight. So it's just like trying to convince a team like, hey, we can do this. But all the kids are like, they're down in the dumps, dude. Like we've reached rock bottom. So today was like, all right, we got to wake them up. And so we spent 20 minutes just running. Nothing
makes me feel better than running.
Yeah, it's just because like the whole moral of it. So I was running this because I told him, I was like, I got this. I'll run it. Let me run it. And my head coach is kind of like, he's done. He's like, this sucks. Like, this is terrible. I was like, I got you.
But you haven't given up on these kids.
I'm an optimist by nature. I can't help it.
Okay.
We could be 0-6, and I'd be like, we still can get one, boys. Let's go get them. You know what I mean?
There's nothing more rewarding than if you have a bad team. Like, I coached a 5th grade boys basketball team when I was in Massachusetts, and we lost every game. But in the last game, I was like, we can do this. We won. We got a buzzer beater, Jacob. Dude. We won at the very end.
You stormed the court?
Dude, I ran out on the court. I was arguing with a ref about stuff. There was a parent. Sorry, I hijacked your story. There was a kid that showed up late who wasn't very good. He showed up after halftime, and you had to put them in for minutes. But the rule was if they don't make it to the first half, you don't have to put them in. And so I didn't put them in. I pulled them aside at halftime. I said, after halftime, I said, hey, I appreciate you being here. Root for your teammates. Cheer them on. We are glad you are here, but it's not fair to them to put you in.
This is the moment.
Because we were doing good and we were winning. And these parents come out of the stands like, he didn't put that kid in for minutes. And I was like, I looked at the ref. I was like, we're on the same page, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, you don't have to put him in. And the parents was like, I'm going to see you in the parking lot after and all this stuff. And I was like, no, this is my team, actually.
That's right.
I ain't worried. His mom ain't even worried. Like, nobody's worried. You don't worry. And we won on a buzzer beater, dude.
That's
it was
right.
crazy. The kids were freaking out.
No, but that's how it should be. Like those are the good moments, and that's what you want. So we have So, anyways, long story short, I said I got them. So we started running them. I started out with really long runs. We did like 5 straight. Then I shortened the field, and I said, "All right, here's what we're doing." I explained to him. I said, "You watch the ball. Watch the ball. If we jump, we bear crawl. That's it." And they started complaining. I said, "Nah, we're bear crawling now." And so I made them bear crawl. So then we started running. We just kept going. We kept going. And then about 10 minutes in, you could tell like they're gassed. Like they're so ready. If I said we're done, they're celebrating. And so I said, "Are we quitters?" And they all looked around and like, and one kid started to grab his like chin strap. And I said, "If you want to quit right now, go to the back wall. You can quit. I don't care. Leave. Quit. You're done. I'm giving you permission. You can quit." And so I'm like waiting for one of them to back out. None of them backed out. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, cool. We're not quitters then. No. All right, let's prove it then. Let's go again. We ran again. I said, "Are you quitters?" No. Ran again. I kept asking them, are you quitters? And they kept saying no. And my goal was this. I said this. If we can get
Kill 'em?
10, if we can get 10 sprints in before they tell me that a kid quits. If a kid quits after 10 sprints, I understand. But if I can keep someone from quitting after we run them 10 more times, like I'm talking 10 sprints, like full field, we're moving. I'm happy. So we're moving, not full field, like our practice field's short. It's not 100 yards. Don't think it's 100-yard sprints. It's about maybe 30 yards, So 30-yard sprints. We do it. We hit it. None of them quit. And so I was like,
Dude.
we're good. And that's why I said at the end, I said, guys, you're not quitters. You played like quitters. You're not quitters. That's how it feels like to not be a quitter. So that was practice today.
Nice.
That's a good
That's
lesson.
inspirational.
Yeah, it felt good. We left on a positive note. I still think we're going to get killed on Thursday. We're playing an undefeated team. They haven't lost
Until
a game.
you guys get a hold of
Dude,
them. Then they'll be
double
defeated
motion.
team.
They're in 7th grade. They do shotgun and they do double motions crackbacks.
Oh my
I
god!
don't even know what that
what
means.
they do is they'll motion a receiver in, like they're going to get a jet, but they'll hike it early, and the receiver runs in and crackbacks the DN, and then they just run it right up that gut. And so I'm saying like, we're getting murdered.
Oh my gosh!
We're getting murdered. And I'm like, so I switched our defense. I'm the DC this year. So I switched them to a 4-3. I'm trying to like just help give us some support on the run, and just hoping that our offense shows up.
So there's more responsibility on the linebackers to get in the gaps
Yes.
than some linemen two gapping.
Correct. We did a 5-2 the entire year. And I've only we haven't had more than 18 points scored on us all year.
Okay, that's
So like
good.
we're doing well. There's some games we've put up
Is your
donuts.
offense?
Offense is okay. We have our moments. There's one kid who's like really, really talented. Like really talented. There's a lot of kids who are talented, but he's really talented. We just had ego issues and attitudes and kids just getting upset because they don't practice or they skip practice. So we sit them because you skip. And then they're getting mad because they're getting sick. Cause like I'm the best player on the team. You're like, now you're sitting longer because you don't know how to shut your mouth. So like stuff like that. So I'm going to this game just like, who cares? There's only 2 games left. Let's see if we can change it up. So I've changed it from a 5-2. So now we don't have 5 linemen on the field. Now we'll have 4, but we'll have an extra linebacker. And I think we have better linebackers than we do linemen. I'm hoping having another linebacker will help with the run support on that. So yeah, that's my video game I'm playing. That's what I'm doing.
Real life.
There's no better game.
You're playing
than
football
that.
simulator.
Football simulator, yeah, 100%.
Nice.
It's the most fun. I'll tell you right now, if you coach, if you're listening to this and you coach at all, you do anything like that, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. It's also the most like painstaking thing in the world. It takes up your time. It's really frustrating. Parents hate you. Players hate you. But it is fun. It's competitive. It's all those things else. Outside of that, I'm playing NCAA. I'm playing the college football 25 game. It's great. Freaking phenomenal game.
Hey, I got to ask you a question.
Yes.
Coaching morality question.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got recommended this. I was on Reddit and it was football strategy Reddit. You ever go on there?
No, I'm interested though.
It's football strategy. It's all coaches.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of high school, middle school. And this guy posted in there and he said, hey, I need advice. Basically, I'm the head football coach. I didn't know if it was middle school or high school.
Okay.
I think it's high school, but
Okay.
I'm not certain. It might be like 9th grade or something like that. But basically, he said, I need advice. I have made the tough decision to bench 3 of our best players for the division championship, not the playoffs, but the regular season division championship game. He said the AD is pushing him to not bench the kids. He's like, but they did something stupid and I got to bench them because they need to know what they did wasn't okay. And I was like, that's pretty crazy for a coach to bench 3 kids. But then he said what they did. They conspired to bully and physically threaten like a nerd kid to give them the answers to an algebra test. And they got caught like in text message threatening to beat him up and stuff. So the coach said he's benching him. He's like, you guys aren't playing. The kids are upset. The parents are upset. The AD is saying not to do it. And I'm curious, Jacob, you're a coach and you find out your kids have done something like that, but there's a championship on the line. Some people were like, I might bench him for like a half, but like I really would want the championship. I'm curious, would you bench like let's say your 3 best players, but they did something wrong?
I mean, if they did it depends on the standard he set. That's the issue. This is what we're running into. So this year we didn't set great standards in the beginning, and we started to correct it by the second game. But the problem was when you start to correct something, other people who didn't get held to that same standard notice it and they start complaining. And so really big lesson. when you come up the gates, make it clear. How do you handle punishments? Do you bench them for a quarter? Do you bench them for a half? Do you bench them for a game? How and what's the escalation of that? So we have a 3-strike rule. You get 3 strikes, you get benched. Now, how long you get benched based on how many more strikes you get. If you get up to 7 strikes, you're benched the whole game. Because they're middle schoolers, they're going to get a lot of strikes. They're going to do stupid stuff. Miss a practice, that's a strike. Teacher complains about you, strike. Screw around in practice, strike. Right then and there, you got 3 strikes. You're getting benched the first quarter. So that's our standard now. So morality-wise, what's the standard? That'd be my first question. If it's me, and I know the championship's on the line,
this is why I asked you this.
We are a pro bullying podcast.
I'd push our B squad players. Don't let them score in the first quarter. All right, you got to get me 1 quarter.
You bench them a quarter.
Bench them a quarter. Yeah. Let them know. I don't care because when you say the whole game. Here's the thing. When you say the whole game, you say, I'm okay with losing. That's what you say.
I kind of thought the same thing, and I didn't know exactly what the kids did when I first read it. And at the very end, he said, because I was like, dude, what did they do that they got the win? But then when I read that, I was like, that is pretty messed up, too. Yeah. Because, like, you know.
If it was, like, damaging a property or something, it's like, these are stupid kids. Yeah. But, like, you are actively, like,
you're causing.
Yeah, you're causing, like, psychological stuff to this kid.
But that's, again, it's the standard. That's why I go back on the standard. You have to have a standard.
Well, that's what he said. He said that they're trying to set a standard for their program of what's not acceptable. And he's like, I was telling the AD, even if we lose this game, we still will go to the playoffs. We're still like our whole thing's still in front of us. You still win it all.
Yeah. And I think that's the kind of thing on the AD's part. The AD wants to look good. Yeah. The AD only looks good if the coach wins. The coach looks good if they can still look good because they go to the playoffs. But the coach knows that he's the one getting fired if they lose. So he's like, who cares?
Didn't you basically explain that BS High plot summary basically in all of this? Because they got weren't they not getting any grades? They weren't getting an education at the school.
They were playing.
They were just playing.
Nothing football. It was crazy.
There were no standards. You can bully whoever you wanted.
A lot has changed. Obviously in the dynamic of, I've watched a lot more high school football this year, even more because I'm trying to rank up. I'm trying to get my knowledge up so I can go coach at a higher level because middle school's fun, but high school is a different ball game. And watching them coach now and watching the cycles they go through, watching the ADs rip into people because you're like, why do you have all this power? And then you realize they're like the GM.
Yeah,
they're like the GM.
I was going to ask that.
They're kind of like because they determine if they hire or fire the coach. So they work hand in hand with that program. And currently the school I'm coaching at and I'm hanging out with, their school, we're not doing great. We're not doing terrible, but we lost a lot of big players. We're in that kind of that in-between year because we have some young people coming up. I'm like, oh, these kids are going to be another good cycle. There's a cycle coming. But how long do you get for that cycle? You know what I mean? That's the question you get. So it's about you're standing a good standard, building a good program. I would say this, a quarter. That'd be my answer. They get a quarter.
I get that. I understand.
They would get a quarter, and depending on the severity of it, I would look at it and say, hey, how often have they caused me issues? If they cost me a lot of issues, it might be longer than a quarter. But if they cost me no issues, and I'm like, you guys are just being idiots right now. All right, idiots get punished still. All right, here's your punishment. Whole game that's a punishment.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I'll tell you though, those kids will remember it. They will remember it, and that's the thing. You're doing it your freshman year. That's an important year. It's right before varsity. Right before ball game starts to become a little bit more serious. You're doing it at a good time. Do it now. If you wait till your varsity year, then they get spoiled and they go to college and they think they can just steal NIL money.
Say what you would do in the comments, and we'll see who is the most morale-driven coach.
What would you do, Zach, as a football coach?
That's a really open-ended question.
Zach, I pay money.
He'd be laying down like this.
I'd be like,
he'd be on.
What did you guys do?
Yeah, he'd be on his little backbone, yeah.
What, you did what?
Zach,
hold on, I'm about to beat this boss.
In the future, if your kids ever end up playing sports, and
I hope not.
Yeah. what would your dynamic? I'm trying to imagine Zach's dynamic as a sports dad, a sports father.
I mean, I gotta imagine you would be rooting for them, but if even they lose, you just be like, "Well, get them next time."
Yep, get them next time.
Gosh,
I would literally want them to know, hey, you can do anything. You can do this, but if they lose or whatever, I think some dads are like, "What happened there? We gotta find out what you did wrong." You know what I mean? I don't think I'd be that.
I got someone who's like that. He's a sack specialist. Have you ever heard of that before?
Like sacking the quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So, okay, long story short, he went to he went to Florida, and there's a really, I can't remember the dude's name. Look up Sack Sensei on Instagram. That's all I can tell you. But he trains NFL players for the combine, people who are trying to get into the combine and get up and ready to get drafted. And he spends a lot of defensive line coaching, and his son is a stud. His son is good. One of the best defensive linemen I've seen. The dude is phenomenal. And he showed me the videos of him training with Ohio State. His son, the 7th grader, has been out there with Ohio State during their training camp, just running around. He knows people. And so like I'm watching this kid go and go and go, and I'm like, yeah, this dude's a dog. And I'm sitting thinking like, this kid knows more than I do. That's crazy. But that's what he does. After every game, you can hear his dad screaming like, oh, you should have done that, and you should have did this. And I'm sitting thinking, dude, that kid killed everyone. He was so good. And I'm like, you're mad at him, and I'm like, he single-handedly was our defense. Like, so yeah, it's just
That's
crazy.
wild. Is this a kid on your team?
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Parent dynamics are wild. I will tell you right now, like if I have a kid who plays sports, I mean, my nephew's playing football this year, and I go to his games, I instantly get offended by stuff, and I'm like, why am I offended? It's because you care. When you care.
Well, I think it depends on like what their desire is.
Yeah.
Because like, I think back like who was that? The soccer documentary.
Soccer documentary.
The freaking guy that.
Messi?
No. Very handsome guy. David Beckham. Yes. He recently had that documentary, and he said his dad was like on him, and like they watched every play frame by frame, and he was really, really hard on him. But he wanted that, and then he ended up being one of the best. You know what I mean? Like, here's what you did wrong, whatever. But like he desired that. But if your kid's not into it, and you're like living through that, that's not right. That's not right. Yeah, either. So
that's all I've been playing. And that's all I've been doing. Okay. So just give you guys that update.
Hey, I mentioned earlier. Astrobot. Yeah. I think you've been playing it as well.
I've been playing Astrobot. I think the game's awesome. It's like a leveled up version of the mini small game.
Came with the PS5 for free.
Yeah. And it's exactly what I remember playing that at the time, being like, I would do a full thing of this, and that's what this is. And I love it. It's charming. It's fun. I love the levels. I love all the Sony callbacks. They're really fun. I'm only through like maybe the second world. So
I'm in the second world right now.
Okay, cool. So we're similar parts, and I think it's just fantastic. I really like they're doing, at least so far, a thing where like you'll be in like a world, and they'll be like level, like 4, 5, 6 levels, and then there's like a boss level. And each of those worlds, there's been a level where they don't just like have the little tiny PlayStation people, but like the level has mechanics from a game. Like, you know, I think the first one's Ape Escape, where you literally get the net and you chase apes around and you capture them.
Just like the PS1 game.
Just like Ape Escape. Like I think I've never played Ape Escape.
It was just like it.
Yeah. And so that's definitely a step beyond. Like I think with the other one, there would be like little moments where you'd find people, but this is like leveled up. And now you're collecting the people. Like you don't just see them and it's like a little thing you see. You like capture them and put them in your PlayStation ship, and then in your hub area, like where your ship is, and you're trying to repair your ship as a PlayStation 5, trying to repair your ship. All of these little Astrobots are there, but also all these like PlayStation specific ones. So like, I mean, have you? I'll just say like somebody generic, like Joel and Ellie. Like I found the Joel and Ellie bots. And now when I go back in the main area, like they're there, and you can get little poses for them and stuff.
That's really cool.
And then there's these cool, I think you've seen this, where you basically, in your hub area, there'll be a thing that says like 10 or 30 or whatever. Yeah. And basically you have to get that many robots and people, and then they will help you lift up a boulder. But the numbers become insane, like 100, 150.
Yeah.
So like there was one that said 100. And then like when I unlocked it, 100 of those little people stacked up and then made a human bridge, and I crawled across, and it's random who's in there. So I'm crawling and it's bots, and then it's like Crash Bandicoot, and I'm crawling, it's the Parappa the Rapper guy.
That's really cool.
And like, so there's just all these fun little moments with these PlayStation characters that are really cool. So, I mean, the gameplay is perfect. It's just like how I remembered the first Astrobot being very fun, very fluid, great mechanics all throughout. And that's definitely one I'm going to be kind of slowly making my way throughout the fall. You're having fun with it.
Yeah,
too, right?
I love the with that first one. that was the moment it clicked. I was like, I gotta get every game for PS5 because that freaking controller felt so good with the feedback, the DualSense. And same with this one, they've just powered it up to where like this one, you're hitting stuff and a million things pops out.
Yeah.
And it kind of took me back to like old games when that was fun. Like you get to see a million things. Like I haven't got to play in a long time in a game. Like you're getting to like play around with all this stuff. And what's also funny on that is like they just showed this PS5 Pro and it's like I'm looking at Astrobot in wonder because it's like I'm breaking a million apples that fly all over.
The physics
like
are
the
great.
physics are all over the place and I'm just having a blast just all the goofy things you get. And like you said, it's like it's like a supersized version of that that came free with the console. But that's fun. I ended up getting the freaking, I don't know if you guys can see, you can't see on the camera, but I got
Astrobot controller.
I got the controller. But I thought that was so freaking cute because that's kind of like your ship basically in the game is a DualSense with the little eyes on it and stuff. So no, I really, really like it. The music's amazing. Love just playing around with it, and like I said, like that feedback when you're on glass, or it actually feels like you're on like a metal,
when
metal,
you're doing the ice skating, you can feel like little
ridges and stuff, and
in
like
your hand.
it's weird.
It's crazy.
That's impressive. Honestly,
have you played any of?
I played Astrobot with the tech demo. I guess you want to call it.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I loved it. I want to play it. It's on my radar. It's not.
It's the one game I actually was playing it, and like Xander, my son, was like. He was like sitting in his little bouncer thing, and I put that up, and it was just making all these noises, and he was like kicking on the bouncer and just like
hit a dopamine,
and he was like,
"Oh, that's cool."
So I was like, I wish he was just a tiny bit older seeing this, but next to Astrobot 2, he'll be on that.
He'll be ready.
Yeah. But
definitely
it's very fun.
Definitely a good game.
And on top of that, the cool controller, it plays great. This is so fun in a time where like chasing all these graphics. Get the physical version, you open it up, and there's a full there's instructions in there, and there's a full map or poster.
No way.
You pull out, and it's like a giant poster of like the ship and all the stuff on the ship.
I think that it really Sony needs to take a lesson from this. And I don't know how the game's sold, but like reception wise,
it was really good.
It was great and came out right around the same time as Concord.
Yeah.
Make some more Astrobots.
Maybe not as many Concords.
That's why we all bought PS5s. Was enjoying.
No,
these
you bought it for
games.
Concord. That's why.
Yeah.
No. Now, speaking of multiplayer games, I did play this month a few matches of Deadlock, the new Valve.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The Valorant kind of.
How was that?
Definitely not like Valorant. Even
I thought it was. Maybe
is
I'm
a
crazy.
hero game.
Yeah, it's a hero game.
But what it is, you'll understand.
Is it like Overwatch?
No, it's not like any of those. It's not like you shoot, but it's not really even a shooter because you have other characters that don't shoot with like swords and bows and stuff. It is a third-person shooter version of League of Legends. It is straight up like a League of Legends or Dota 2 type game. Very math, very efficiency. You've got efficiency scores and you're trying to be efficient. There's 5 or 6 lanes.
Huh.
You've got 5 players there's 5 lanes, I think, and you have 6 players on your team. Or you have, however the math works out, I think there's 4 lanes and you have 6 people. So you have 2 people in 2 lanes and then 1 person in two of the other lanes. But basically, like, you start the match and you're fighting in your lane. You're kind of killing little scrubs. Mm-hmm. You're killing mid bosses. You're getting currency. You're going back to the shop, upgrading, and you're basically upgrading your person, buying new items, and you're building and building yourself up to where you eventually can get enough momentum through battle to go take on like their primeval or whatever they call it. Yeah. So you are fighting other people, but it's not like a quick twitch shooter as much as it is more understanding positioning, and like there's damage drop off on the guns. Yeah. So just because I see you doesn't mean I can actually kill you, because there's damage drop off after like 20 feet.
That's good.
And different characters have different drop off. So you kind of are always edging in and out of like territory to actually shoot each other. So I play with people that know what they're doing. That's very important for this kind of a game. Like Sam and his buddy Spencer that I played with, they play.
This game intimidates me the way that you hear about it.
You would not enjoy this game.
Well, I think it's a strategy. That's the thing, is like it's high strategy, it's high team,
high strategy,
tactical.
high team, high economy.
Yeah.
It gives you like an efficiency score, and like when you finish a match, it drops like line graphs that show like
That's like Age of
how
Empires.
efficient you were. You would like this game.
I know I would.
It shows how efficient you were at each stage of the game.
That's
And
the problem.
Like the matches are like 30 to 45 minutes. So like I finished a match.
They're 45 minutes.
Yeah,
well,
30
think about
to
it.
40 minutes.
It's a giant tug. So you ever played League
It's
of
a
Legends?
giant tug of war, basically.
Have you played League of Legends
I
before?
don't think he has.
Okay, that's your issue. League of Legends is a giant tug of war. Like there are times when like a team will push and then they get pushed back because they get depleted, and then they start to have to fight back. And so it's just a giant tug of war.
I didn't know they went that long.
The way it works is like you have 6 people and they have 6 people, and you're some kind of a character that has like a skill tree, and you start with no skills unlocked. And throughout the course of the match, you will unlock up to level 5 on the skill tree.
Okay.
So you're building out your character, you're buying items for your character and upgrades. And basically it starts out, you're just killing little NPC like gremlins because that's how you get the currency you need to start upgrading.
Yeah.
And then once you reach a certain level of, lethality, you can start really killing opposing people. And when you kill them, they're on respawn, and the more they get killed, the longer their respawns are. So the goal is to keep getting stronger, keep managing the lanes. And like a lane is like,
Are these called MOBAs?
Yeah. They're
Yes.
called MOBAs.
Okay.
And this is basically a third-person shooter MOBA.
Gotcha.
And nobody's really tackled it on this level before. Definitely the best attempt at something like this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sounds interesting. I would be interested. I just hate playing those games as solo. Like,
yeah, you got to play with people. This is not a game you would play solo. And I'd be interested how you'd like it if you tried it, but it's not an
do you
arcade-y.
take direction well? Do you stay in your lane?
I just like directing.
Yeah, I don't think you like. Basically, I get in the game and someone's like, hey, you're going to take this lane. And like, I go get in that lane and then they're making calls. It's like, hey, jump over here. We need help. And you go try to help. And then you go back. And
I don't know. I'm open to new things.
Yeah, that would be right up my alley.
it is well made. I think this game's going to be in beta for like a year. It doesn't look bad or anything, but you can tell like they're putting the gameplay first, and they're constantly tweaking to the point of they didn't want people to post like while it was still.
Oh yeah, I was seeing that too. I was like, is this game out? Okay, it's not. Is this announced?
They didn't want people to post because they didn't want people to like
start
get into
judging it.
Well, they didn't want a community. The one thing they said is don't make meta videos, because we're not trying to have a sandbox right now with metas in it.
Yeah.
We're trying to just learn what people think is fun and not. So if you make a video that's like, here's how to make this sick build with the ninja guy and kill everybody, and then everybody just does that, now all their testing data is screwed up.
Yeah.
So they were really adamant of like, just try different characters.
But it's
just
an open
jump in.
beta?
Yeah, it is open now.
I wonder
think.
how they track that, because people are doing it.
Well, there's definitely people trying to play good, but like it's kind of out of the bag now. But early on, they wanted to just get initial pure data of like, how are things playing.
Yeah.
But it's a cool game. I don't know that it's going to be a game I play 1 billion hours of, but it's a fun multiplayer game that I want to. It's a game that when you play a match, you're like, I sucked, but I want to be better. Like, I want to do better. I want to, like, even in the match I was in, the first match I played, I was like last. You can see, like, I was the least efficient player.
You're the bottom
through,
of
like,
that
the
line
first
graph.
15 minutes. And I was like, I'm not going to stand for this. So I started like running around. I wound up being third to last or fourth to last, but I did get ahead of some guys. And I was like,
jumped
hey,
ahead.
That's success for me in this match. And we won too. So
And I just want to ask, because like you said this and it sparked something in my brain. So you've been playing that, but have you thought about, you just tell me, dipping your toe in Overwatch 2?
Oh, I've thought about it before. I've installed it before. I just never played it.
Okay. I've been seeing more and more people playing it lately, and it's starting to bring back the itch.
I would absolutely play Overwatch. I'd love to play some.
You'd like Overwatch. You'd do
I think
great.
you were the one that bought me Overwatch.
Wait, I thought it was free to play. Was it originally? No,
It was
wasn't.
originally you had to pay.
It was originally $40. Overwatch 2 is out, but it's free to play now, so you don't have to worry about it. But I got the itch for it, but I might have to scratch that itch later, because that kind of sounds fun. That sounds more fun to me.
Yeah, you should hop on and play with us.
Yeah,
I think you would love it.
You'd have to let me know next time you guys are playing because that would be interesting.
Yeah, I will let you know.
Okay.
I'm going to probably be playing some this weekend. So
This weekend won't work. I'll be out of town.
even this week, maybe.
But I get what you're saying.
Okay. I'll text you. I'll let you know.
Bet.
The only other thing I've been playing is the way I am playing this game. I
saw it on the list.
I almost could say I'm not playing it. I'm playing.
It's playing you.
I'm playing Deus Ex Human Revolution, but I am using playing in the loosest terms. Like,
You're turning it on.
I've been working. I played Deadlock a few weeks ago. I've been playing Astrobot, but I haven't played in a few weeks. But I've not had any time to play games.
Huh.
But I've had a few minutes here and there while like a football game's on. I'm hanging out with my wife, and I'm like, I just want to play something. I want to move forward in some game. So I installed Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I like the very opening cutscene.
Is Human Revolution the 2011 one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play this game or one
I
of these
loved
games.
it. I loved that back then.
And there's nothing. So what I'm saying is not an indictment on the game. But the first night I tried to play it, I kept kind of like dozing off when they were trying to explain like why this place is blowing up. And I just got through the mission basically. Like I kept kind of waking. I would stand like behind cover and
Sounds
wake
like
back up.
yeah, that's the recommended way to play.
Because I was very tired, and I gutted through the mission, but the result was I don't know what this game is about. I don't know who I am.
There's a revolution for humans going on.
And now I'm getting emails and I'm not reading them. And like I got in an argument.
You
with my
basically
boss.
made your own life.
I got in an argument with my boss, and he's like, "Come on, David, whatever, blah blah blah, come on." And I didn't know what he was saying. And then it's like appease to him or attack him. I was like, attack him. I don't know who he is. So I'm playing this game.
Now you're evil
with my mind off and like 100% on vibes of like, how's this guy making me feel? I'm gonna be mad at him. Or like this guy, like a quest broke because I couldn't go forward because I was supposed to go into this police station, and I knew the guy. I was like, oh good, I know him, I guess. He's like, hey, blah blah blah, and I said something that made him mad, and then it was like, what do you want to do in response? And I doubled down. I was like, it was call him out, and I called him. I was like, you sack of whatever, like you let that girl die. And this guy said, just leave, I don't want to talk to you. And then like I can't get in there now. So then I went through the sewer. So anyway, I am actually like 6 hours into this game. I looked it up. I'm like a third to halfway through it.
Wow.
But I missed the boat on the early exposition to where when a cutscene comes on and Jess is talking to me, normally I'll pause the game. I just let it keep playing, and like I talk to her, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to China now. Okay. Like I don't know what is going on in this game.
You're playing this game like when our friend Alex showed Jacob Stanley's Parable.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And you just kept playing it the worst way possible and running everything. And he's like, well, I guess you can't. Okay, I guess.
That's how I'm playing it. But it is a fun little shooter. I am sneaking around. I was at first trying to sneak because I like to sneak, but then like this guy attacked me and I shot him in the head, and everybody in the place got alerted. And I was like, I guess I'm killing everybody here. So like I'm playing that game on vibes. That's what I need from it right now. And it's fun. It's fun.
I wonder how that aged. I did like that back then. And there's some like cool places. I don't know if you got to China yet.
I'm about to go to China.
Okay. That's a cool setting.
Yeah, I like the Detroit.
It's some cool stuff.
I'm just getting to a point with some of these games, like they've been on my list and I've wanted to play them for so long, and I always wait for this perfect, like I'm in the right headspace, I want to play it. And finally with this one, I was like, I'm probably not in the right headspace, but I got to play these games sometimes.
So you said, I'm not in the right headspace. Start.
Yeah.
Run with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm having fun. I can't always be in the perfect headspace to play every game.
That's true.
Right. I respect that.
That's true. Can we talk about future games? Games on the horizon.
Yeah.
Sure.
What is on the horizon?
Forbidden West now. They showed some more. Well, I think they showed a trailer. I'm trying to keep away. Like what I like to do, I like to take an appetizer of every game that I like, any like Kojima game or Naughty Dog game. I'll watch the first trailer. And then after that, I try to be as blind. I know I'm gonna see stuff on Twitter or whatever.
Try to avoid it.
But I want to see that first thing. They're like, okay, this is the first look at it, whatever. So I'm trying to stay away because I've already seen the Delta, the Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. But I did see all these like new images and stuff. Like we get to see Ocelot for the first time, and he is pretty different than what he looks like in the original Snake Eater. But I don't know if you guys did you get to see that?
I watched all this.
You watched all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw some clips and I saw some whatever, but
I saw the trailer, I guess.
I was talking with someone else about this and was like, what do you think of this? And I was like, like, did you like the new remodels or whatever? And they said they were like, I wonder how it's going to work with the voice acting. Is the same voice acting from 04 with all brand new models and new engine and stuff. And it's like, they were like, do you think that's going to work? And I was like, yeah. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, that performance and that motion or the way they animated it, is that going to fit with the way, with an old voice acting? I was like, I actually didn't think about that. I don't know. So my worry I have a worry for the game, but it does look incredible. It does look amazing. They're giving a filter that looks like the old game, because the old game had a greenish hue, and you can actually turn that on in the settings for this new game. So that kind of alleviated some fears, because that without it kind of looks sterile. It kind of looks stale.
Yeah.
And my worry with them having, like, the worry not having Kojima involved with this is that, like, this is going to have, like, some soulless kind of stuff. That's what I'm worried about. Like, the soul of it's going to feel like, is this like a husk of what this was? And they kind of slapped this together with people that are not Kojima, with the vision behind it.
Sure.
So I'm kind of hesitant, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm excited. I think it looks awesome.
Okay. I pre-ordered the collector's edition, so I think
everything you're saying is fair. From when this got first announced to where we're at now, I've grown a lot in my excitement. I thought that the new character models all looked awesome.
Yeah.
I thought they looked like
someone did show that it was closer. They made like old lines on it. It's like, that kind of looks like he does in 2 as he looks older. Metal Gear Solid 2 looks older.
I thought it looked good. I thought that the voice acting stuff was all pretty convincing. The only thing was the lip sync of like Snake to one of his lines didn't look very good. But my brain can be like, whatever, this is an old game. I don't mind. I don't know if it's going to have the soulless thing you're worried about, in my opinion, because it is more of a Demon Souls remake than it is like what's another remake where they remade it from the ground up, like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, they're keeping the same story, they're keeping the same music, they're keeping all the same dialogue. Like, and the gameplay, you can play it. Can you play it both ways? You can play it in the
classic mode and play it modern. So
okay.
And the modern looks cool. So
I'll play it modern first, because I've played the classic a million times.
So you want a different experience.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. See. I'm ready to revisit that world, and I hope it lives up.
I do hope it sells well, because the thing I really want them to do, I just don't know if it's in their, like, they think it's going to sell well. Remake completely Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2.
That'd be amazing.
That 2D that's stuck in 2D hell. Yeah. I think they're gonna do like Metal Gear Solid 1 next is what they'd probably want to do, another remake of that.
If they do 1,
that's
2,
what they'll
3,
probably
4,
do.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But I really want them to like get a smaller team and just remake a cool little thing in that. I don't know. Use the engine that you're using for Metal Gear Solid 3.
Where's Toys for Bob at? Get him out here. Get Toys for Bob
get Bloober team on this.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then another Kojima. Well, he's not involved in Delta. Sorry. Death Stranding 2. They had. I didn't watch anything from this again, but I was like, I'll see screenshots, or I'm going to see stuff I know I will. And on Twitter, I've never had this experience this extreme. Scrolling on Twitter, Kojima and other people start posting some stuff from this or the event. They showed, like, I started seeing Kojima was selling jackets, and a jacket was like $1,500 that he made. Like, he designed it with this other company, Kojima did. And it's him modeling it, and it sold out in like 15 seconds. It was $1,500, and it's like this fashion jacket. Because, like all the games, he always has those sunglasses. He's like really into fashion. So I saw that, and as I'm scrolling, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm seeing all the stuff from it. And then I'm like seeing the freaking Fragile from Death Stranding, and then I forgot the names of the actors. All these are real actresses and stuff. But I get to see them, and they're in a shot together, and they're kind of like doing like a promo thing. Like, I got to see that, and I got to see them like in a photo like of that. And I was like, oh, they showed up for scrolling down. And then like I saw what I saw above again, and it says photo mode, and I click it, and I actually watched this little clip, Kojima's thing, and I'm like, I scroll back up, and I'm like, I thought that was a person. Like, I thought that was a person, like 1-to-1. And did you watch this clip?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was the natural progression for Metal Gear Solid 5, because the animations in Metal Gear Solid 5 are like incredible. That's why it feels so good, is the animations are so good. But this makes that look like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
This has like the actor, like there's a photo mode. Did you see this, Jacob?
No,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
There's a photo mode, and they said, here's the photo mode in Death Stranding. It's pretty advanced, and it actually affects the story. Like,
Yeah.
like
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he said it affects the story. Like, and people were like, is it if you take pictures with people, the friendship bond like rolls up? Like, I don't know what this is, but in this clip, they're like kind of just dancing and they're acting goofy and whatever. But like the hair bobs, the clothes are crinkling, like all the physics, like the leg, there's like leg fat, or there's like everything is like minuscule, like little details. And I'm like, some people were like, this is scaring me. This is like,
it's very uncanny.
It's a very uncanny valley. But like to me, I'm like, it is scarily accurate. Like it is like 1-to-1. Some of this.
I didn't get the opportunity to not know it was the game because like I saw this photo mood is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I read that and then I looked at the images. So it is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't get that initial like,
it
is
shocked
that real?
me.
Like I did think it was very uncanny and very realistic looking, but
I think because those are actresses in real life, I thought that they were just at this event doing a promo.
Yeah. Oh, I could see how that would.
And if it was like Solid Snake, then I'd be like, okay, well, of course that's not real because that's a fictional character. But that is like, oh, those are actresses. That wasn't real.
It looks very real, and yeah, I just think that game's going to be so cool.
And I was talking with somebody about that game as well, and they were saying like, he was talking about like, I heard Death Stranding. He was trying to get into Death Stranding, and I was like, I recommend it, but they didn't do much in combat, and I have problems with it. But the story and all that, the lore and stuff is incredible. It's like some of the best lore I've ever seen in a game, or just world building. And he was like, yeah, I heard about the combat. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of bad. And I was like, I think this one is going the other end of the pendulum. There's going to be like some combat stuff in this one. Yeah. Because even in that teaser, that first trailer, Troy, what's his name? Baker? Yeah, Troy Baker says in the thing, he's like you traded in your rope for a stick.
Yeah,
like something like that. Because that was the big comparison to Death Stranding 1.
I would hope that they improve. That was my biggest complaint with Death Stranding. The shooting itself.
The combat was like, and they pushed you away from it too much. To whereas like Metal Gear Solid gives you a choice. And I know he's making his own new technical espionage game, but it's like, we need a hint more of that to be good. So I'm excited for it. It looks incredible. Again, like, maybe that's what I get the PS5 Pro. That's the PS5 Pro.
Is that next year?
Death Stranding 2? I think, 2025.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And GTA 6. If it doesn't get, there are rumors.
That's like water at the end of the desert right now. Those two games.
There's getting, it is.
Besides those two, is there anything else you guys are looking forward to on that level? Those two, definitely. Metal Gear Solid Delta, but that's a remake.
Whatever Switch 2, which is probably a new Mario. 2. I think there's going to be a new Mario on that, which is always a...
Switch 2.
I think you're getting Metroid Prime at launch.
If I think so too, $1 for every time we've mentioned the Switch 2. I'd probably at least have
the miraculous
$50.
Did anyone play Echoes of Wisdom? I have it. I just haven't been able to play it.
I would like to, but I haven't.
I saw some gameplay video of it, and I was like, that game looks like a game you can break. I kind of want it.
Yeah. It's been getting good reviews. I did see people say it's not to the level of amazing of like Tears of the Kingdom because it's like a different type of game, but it's not as like, you're not getting a bad Zelda either,
it's different. I think here's the thing. It's a different formula, and different formulas are good. It has its own place. It did look fun. Yeah. When I watched, I was like, that does look fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to frick around with all that.
Yeah.
Making tables pop up
The only
everywhere.
game I'm excited about is that Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero is coming out.
What is that exactly? Is that different than like a normal fighting game like Fighter Z?
It's way different. There was a series called Budokai Tenkaichi. You know what a Budokai Tenkaichi was?
No. Okay. I'm still in Dragon Ball.
Okay, so you know what the tournaments are called?
I saw the first tournament.
They're called Budokai Tenkaichis.
Okay.
Like they're Budokai. Like it's a tournament.
That makes sense.
And so they had Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Those are like the OG.
I remember those on PS2.
Yeah,
people would
PS2.
bring those in at like school and stuff on like snow
those are the
days.
ones like you would have like it's one-dimensional planes, but you could fly, but it was just one-dimensional plane flying, and it was your typical like square triangle to do Kamehameha.
Yep.
Budokai Tenkaichi came out, and when it did, not Konami. I don't know why I said Konami. What's the other one that made Pac-Man? Wonka. Namco. Namco produced Namco and Atari made Budokai Tenkaichi, and it's an open world fighting game. So what it was you can fly around the entire map. You can, instead of having to hit combos to shoot beams and stuff, you can just do it on a whim based on your energy level, and then you have a health bar system. And then it's evolved all the way to Tenkaichi 3. Tenkaichi 3 is still played. People mod it and stuff like that, and they play it. But they've been saying, give us a new one, give us a new one. And then they came out with Kakarot. And they're like, man, Kakarot's great. It's a single player game. And then it finally dropped that they're like, hey, you're going to be able to play with over 190 Dragon Ball characters in Budokai Tenkaichi. Characters from all the way from Dragon Ball all the way to Super.
Nice.
That's cool.
And it's online, which was like, that's great. Phenomenal. Has the story mode. You can play through the story mode, but it's also in its own like art style. Kind of has like the cell shaded kind of style. You can do team battles, so you can build teams of 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
But here's the coolest thing and stuff like that. The world's completely, you can interact with the entire world, so you can shoot a Kamehameha and then move it and like break buildings with it and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
So stuff like that is really what's Tenkaichi's made of. Like that's what made Budokai Tenkaichi so great. My favorite feature is they brought back the live fusions with your teammates. So if you have a teammate, let's say you're playing like a 2v2 battle, like me and you are facing 2 random people, and I'm Goten and you're Trunks, we can agree to fuse, and then we have to hit combos in unison in order to fuse.
Oh, that's fun.
But if we mistime them, you get a bad fusion out of it, which that's later on in Z that you'll run into fusion. So stuff like that.
That's awesome. I'll have to look into that. I have Kakarot actually. I just haven't
Kakarot's
played
great.
it.
Kakarot's a great way to experience. Honestly, you want my honest truth? Don't watch Z play Kakarot.
That's what I was wondering if I could do. Just play Kakarot.
Don't watch Z. I mean, you should watch. I guess you could watch Z, but you would get the same experience just by playing Kakarot, and you'd get to play a game out of it.
And get a game.
Yeah, it's a really good game, really great game. But yeah, stuff like that's like awesome. Like so, that game's coming out next month. Black Ops 6 is coming out. I'll probably get it. I'm probably gonna play it. I played the beta, which was really nice. But
the movement in that game looked crazy.
Dude, it's insane. I like crazy. Call of Duty. Did you guys play Call of Duty when they had jetpacks?
Yeah.
You played that? Did you?
Was that Advanced War?
Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
I didn't play that. No.
I didn't like it, but I did play it a little bit.
Okay, so they like said, hey, let's not bring back the jetpacks, but let's give you the movement of jetpacks. And that's what they did with Omni movement.
I mean, seeing clips and it looks crazy.
Dude, people are like, because the thing, like,
you can't do nothing
when you're trying to shoot them and you just see legs floating in the air like this, and you're like, this is Call of Duty. This is what it's supposed to be like. This is how it should be. So I'm really happy.
I think we're all getting it, or you are. We're the only one on the fence. You are going to get it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Search Engine Story is a absolute must. And I want to talk, I have pent up like, so sidebar conversation. I was going to ask you guys this question.
Okay.
Lately, more and more, I've been debating making a burner account for Twitter. Have you guys ever had that feeling before?
What are you about to do?
Just argue with people. Troll.
Oh my God.
Like, have you never had that feeling where you're like, I want to say things, but I'm on my main account. I don't want it to be tracked back to me.
This is just like South Park with Kyle's dad.
It kind of is. It kind of is. It really is.
Dude, he bullies all those girls. And then one of the girls like quits Twitter, but they announce it to the school like she committed, like she unlived herself.
She unlived herself. But that's why I'm just like, I've been pent up. Like, I'm like, I need an aggression like outlet. And I'm like, you know what? I need to argue with stupid people. Like, that's what I need to do. And Twitter, man, it's like, it's crazy. Like, there's so many crazy things that
you're about to do that because of Black Ops 6. No,
but like, when you get on Black Ops, I can just say whatever I want. Who cares? It's a game of Black Ops.
Yeah.
So I can sit there and say like, yeah, I'm not going to repeat some of the things I could say, but you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Until you get banned. Now they track your voice chat, and they can ban you.
Oh shoot! They're watching from the NSA headquarters.
Yeah, dude, I know that's crazy.
Oh, you're like their worst enemy then.
I don't say that bad of stuff. Some people say some terrible things. I'll like tell them.
I'm just talking about your trash
their
talking.
grandma doesn't love them. Like I say that. Like that's not the worst thing I say. Like I don't say anything terrible. Like it's. God. But like, for me, that's my outlet. Like I just say dumb things.
What did I say to you? We were in an argument,
bro,
and you were saying like stuff.
You don't even know your name. You can't spell your name.
Yeah, you can't even spell your name. What are you doing?
What I said to him?
That's what he said to you.
You said I couldn't spell my name, so then I said something back to you, and my wife just heard what I said. Said, "Why are you being mean to your friend?"
And Travis like, "You don't even know what he's saying."
And all of us were dying. Like all of us in the group.
She was just like, cracking up. You were being so mean to your friends. Like you told me I can't spell my name.
I don't think Alex wants to play shooters with me anymore after that. Because the entire time I was like, guys, we need to go this way.
I love Splitgate. I'm all in for Splitgate 2.
Splitgate ticks me off. That game.
They announced Splitgate 2, and they announced a whole meta world to Splitgate 2. and there's a phone app for Splitgate 2 that you can download that has comics in the Splitgate universe.
Oh, some
Splitgate
Grimoire
have,
cards.
like that big of a following.
They're going for it.
Grimoire
They act like they're
comics.
Halo. Like,
They're acting like they're.
you be honest with
Destiny.
you, they could be Halo. Like Halo doesn't do it anything.
They could be.
No.
No, I love shooters like that, and that's what I mean. So like for us, I'd have a grand old time just kicking back, playing some COD,
Yeah.
and just talking crap.
Yeah.
Like that's me. That's how I want to play. That was a fun night. That was really fun.
Yeah. So Black Ops 6, definitely get that.
Okay.
One last thing I want to talk about, a movie I'm going to see soon, but I just want to talk about the revolving just crap surrounding it. My buddy Brian has been just sending me article tweets after tweets after tweets of all this like crap surrounding this movie, but this movie is called Megaopolis. Have you heard about this, Jacob?
No.
Francis Ford Coppola, who made The Godfather, this is his like magnus opus. Like this is like a film.
The end.
He has been trying to make this film since like the 80s. Like it's been 40 years in the making. He had to put up like so much of his own money. But people that were in on this were like, because this was such a daunting, like crazy, like ideal he had for this movie, people were like, this sucks. Like this is a mess. You have other people that got the test screen and went, this is a 5 out of 5 masterpiece. And people start finding like the guy that said that, like some of these, like some reviewers were saying that multiple people were like 5 out of 5 or this was incredible. But they're like, this guy hates everything. He never gives anything a 5 out of 5. And he gave this a 5 out of 5 and he meant it. And it was like, what's going on with this movie? Because this other people are saying 0 out of 5. Like there's no merit to this movie at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, I love that stuff. The last movie I had on that scale was probably Prometheus, that caused that much like strife and people like fighting over it. But this is like elevated to a different.
Some of the stuff I've seen reacting to this. Did I send you the one thing where someone said it's basically a Neil Breen
movie? Yeah,
which
who's a bad director.
I'm
Neil Breen.
very intrigued by that. I saw someone else say, I cannot express enough that this movie is a fusion of Citizen Kane and Revenge of the Sith. Which just sounded
like
what?
I'm trying to stay so blind on this, but like just the reactions are making me laugh. Like one said, hey, I was at a theater. There was 15 people when I got in, 3 people when I left. Like
wow.
that, like 12 people left or whatever.
It has an even distribution on Letterboxd. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-star reviews. It has an even amount in all of them.
Yeah.
Which is always a curve. It's always maybe a middle big or a high on the ends. And it is an even distribution.
Yeah.
Someone's like, I saw someone say like, this shouldn't scientifically be possible.
Yeah. Like that sounds so insane.
And I saw people say, I want to give it 5 and 1 stars at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I want to see this really bad.
I did hear the one thing that has me the most excited, along with this being a mess of a movie or entertaining. There's a movie called Babylon that came out 2 years ago, and I adored it. And there was a lot of people that just poo-pooed on that movie. But it was so freaking funny. It was like me and my wife were in tears laughing. We loved it. Like it was so good. And some people were like, this is just a way more expensive Babylon movie, or this is an even more expensive Babylon movie at times, or just that type of vibe, I guess. But yeah, I've heard a ton of stuff of like hilarious, like, yep, 4 people left, or what the hell was that? Was the last thing I heard, like the credits go or start going. I was like, what the hell was that movie? But gonna see that soon. I'm trying to figure out, and I already got my tickets to Joker, which equally I heard had its own messes.
Yeah, it's all over the place
because
it's crazy.
The thing that made me laugh the most on that, like behind the scenes, was they came on set some days. It's like, yeah, so there's some days came on set and Joaquin and Lady Gaga, whatever, said, we don't really like. Let's rewrite this. And they spent the next 3 hours rewriting the scene and then shooting it immediately after. And I was like, as a director, sounds like a nightmare. Like immediately that is not going to work. And you've got the inmates running the asylum. Literally, you've got somebody from Arkham Asylum like you got Joker telling you how to do the movie. And it's like, you're going to come up with a mess. Like the editor's going to be like, I'll try to put something together. But I got tickets for that and excited to see that, but that'll be. Yeah.
People were either like, yeah, this is really good. Or it's like, yeah, this sucked. I guess a lot of people were like, assuming it was like a musical.
I had to break the news to so many people. And I was like, yeah, it's coming out. I think my dad, I was like, yeah, Joker 2. And they're doing this. And I was like, yeah, it's a musical. And he's like, I didn't know it was a musical. There's so many people that didn't know it was a musical, or I had to tell them,
and so it's
I
like,
didn't know it was a musical.
They were really disappointed by it, and it's like.
But to me, that's the funniest thing, because I already was like, do we need to make Joker 2? And then when I heard it was a musical, I started cracking. I was like, yes, I'll be there day one. Because like, what does that look like? Like, that's like something new. I'll get to see something.
It will be different. I probably will watch it because I'll never forget the feeling I had after I watched the first Joker.
Yeah,
dude, that
messed me up.
Well, it wasn't even messed me up. I watched it in a theater without you guys on a.
Yeah, you went to the wrong theater and then you just stayed there.
I was running behind, and I said, "Hey guys, I'm here," and you said, "Okay, cool. Here's where we're sitting." I was like, "Okay, cool." I walk into the theater, and I was like, "No one's here," and I looked, and I was like, "Oh, we're like 5 minutes into the movie. I'm just gonna sit down." So I sat down, and I started watching it, and I'm like, none of my friends are here. So I watched that movie by myself. So the movie ended, and I walked out. And
dude, I was walked out with your head down.
I was depressed. Yeah. I was genuinely like,
you walked out with your head down.
I don't feel okay.
That's the most hilarious way
I
to see
forgot
Joker.
that I knew that you had done that. I thought you drove back, but you just stayed there.
I just watched it. I was 15 minutes behind from you guys.
Yeah.
Like, so you guys got the movie 15 minutes later.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Crazy experience. It was very crazy. So yeah, I'll watch Joker 2. I will watch that.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, for the first time in DweeBros history, we've never freaking done this. I think we've earned it. We've done 95 freaking podcasts monthly in a row. We've never missed a month.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
We have like through like me having a child, like multiple sicknesses, COVID, like we have done this consistently for 95. So we are going to take a small hiatus. October, November, no podcast. We will be back in December, fresh, to talk about our favorite stuff for the year. We always do that in December, our December podcast. We always like to talk about favorite games, movies, TV shows, news, anything that came out that year or whatever, talk about. So we'll see you guys in December. I might be putting out some other videos before then, October, November. I want to talk about Joker and Megaopolis, see what that's going on. But so there might be a separate video kind of aside from a podcast for that. But taking a small hiatus. See you guys December.
See you in December.
Appreciate you guys.
That is our podcast. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Hey, check us out on the DweeBros X account. Elon's special website.
You gotta look out for my burner.
Look out for his burner. If you're getting bullied, it's either him or those 3 students that he read about on Reddit. But check us out on DweeBros on there. Watch us. Click like, click subscribe right down here. And we will see you at the next podcast. Bye.